Alright, giddy, hi and welcome. So the operation is done. So I had to do a pre-drilling just to start it because the screw's not strong enough to actually go through the finish. It's a polyethylene finish. And while I was at it, I tightened up all the other washers. I'll show you the back side of it here. So you say, why not just do them all? Well, why do them all in one decade, you know what I mean? So I got this one and this one. These are, again, off an Epiphone. Straight-ish. Straight-ish. That there screw, it's almost all the, it's not all the way down because it started to strip out. They're so delicate, right? But I just basically break the finish with that, just enough to get the screw started, not enough to go in. And that's just to keep it from moving back and forth. So it'll do the job anyway, so that tuner will be fine. And we look at the back of it. Let's have a good look at this guitar. Again, about 20 years old. The electronics. The only problems I've ever had with this guitar was these two tuners and the electronics. Now, the electronics is my fault because I dropped... let's have a look at the headstock here. Cleaned it up the best I could. The electronics is my fault because I spilled a drop of guitar polish, which we'll talk about guitar polish in a second. But that doesn't look too bad. Love the color of this thing. Great gigging guitar, owes me nothing. Yeah, there's the dilapidated... the plastic's getting old enough where it's just starting to crack and everything. So the electronics in this don't really work. There's that nice bridge, some nice rosewood. The Rosetta. I always forget the name of this thing. I've always liked this Rosetta. It's just a sticker, but yeah. Now the nice, I just oiled up the fretboard too. And you can see some of the fret wear from over the years. Fret wear the whole way down the fingerboard, even down here. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I shred with this thing. Like, I mean, it is an awesome, awesome acoustic guitar. The action on it, the way I got it set up, is just absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it nice dark rosewoods, but I put a little bit of oil. The guitar was getting kind of dry. I don't put oil on it every string change, but I don't, you know, those strings, God knows how old they would have been from 2021 or 2022 when Amanda and I were doing jamming or whatever. That's the fretboard conditioner stuff I've had. This bottle's probably over, well, I've had it since I was a teenager and I'm 51. So mist wipe, enhance. I've got lots of guitar polish. I'm going to use this on my drum kit too. I've got so much of it. This stuff lasts forever. Yeah, you do it maybe once, twice a year. And then, like, you put the guitar polish on, and then you just keep wiping it. Like, you don't, like, every time you wipe, like, every time you clean your guitar, you don't have to put guitar polish on. It's only once it gets really, really grungy. And you don't, it doesn't take much. And that's why it lasts so long, right? And for the fingerboard, I just do a couple of drops on it. As long as every fret, in between each fret, gets some oil on it, that's enough. But I'm going to let that sit overnight just because, you know, it's kind of oily. Not too bad, but let it soak in a bit, dry a bit. Then I'll give it one more wipe with the lint-free cloth tomorrow, and I'll put strings on it. And that'll be the first set of strings on. I even did the bridge a bit too with the oil. Not a lot, just a drop here, just enough to keep a little bit of moisture in it because this is old. But I mean, testament to Ibanez quality here. Like, the fretboard's not even cracked. These are just regular nickel frets. Like, they're not... this was about a $400 guitar, brand new. Not the best sounding guitar, but it was really cool. The electronics, one thing I did like about the electronics on this is they had both XLR and quarter inch. And anytime I'd play live, I'd put it in the XLR. Wow, what a sound. Very good preamp in this when you don't drop liquids on it. Yeah. Anyway, but there we go. So, yeah, so Epiphone G400 tuner, the SG that I had. So I had swapped those tuners out for the Tulip tuners, the Gibson Tulip style tuners. So I'm kind of glad I had them. So that's loose, that's loose, that's loose. But that's okay once the strings are on it. But the actual, the other thing too, even though this is a polyethylene finished acoustic, and I know most people are going to say the same thing, polyethylene is like the worst for your guitar. It's not the best, obviously. The nut's still holding up pretty good here. But yeah, even at that, the wood will shrink over time. So when you change your strings, always check out the nut on there. I wouldn't put any Loctite or anything like that on it. I got fingerprints on there again. So anyway, I'll give this just leave this the way it is, and then tomorrow I'll put some new strings on it. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on there, but I'll make a video on that if I'm not working tomorrow. Yeah, look at that nice fretboard, nice rosewood. You just can't get a Jatoba, I always call it Jabota, but Jatoba fretboard to look as nice as a rosewood. I find the rosewood sounds better anyway. Really cuts through. If you're an acoustic guitar player and you do like a lot of leads on your acoustic guitar, rosewood. If you're just doing mainly rhythms, ebony. Yeah. But the rosewood will give you a little bit more mid-end cut. So yeah, but this is a great guitar. The action on this thing, I got it like, it plays like an electric guitar, even with like 12 gauge acoustic strings on it. I usually try to go the lightest guitar strings I can get on an acoustic, just because acoustic guitars, the nature of them, the necks tend to go forward. However, on this one, I've never adjusted the truss rod, never had to. I believe it is a 5-piece neck. Like it's just, a 5-piece neck, so it's like super, super strong. I wish I could say the same for my tack, right? Yeah, like this thing still has a back angle on it. Like, I mean, 20 years, guys, 20 years. And that's not just because the strings are off. It's like that when the strings are on. Like, the neck is dead straight. And the amount of shows I've played with this thing, it owes me nothing. It owes me nothing. Yeah, good gigging guitar for sure. A lot of fun. Anyway, here we go. New tuners. Or tuner.